Guys, Monday night, 8 p.m. The heavy hitters are back. Glenn Higgs, Stefan Bubalo, join us now for Monday Night News.
G'day, viewers. Tonight's topic is bigger better?
Generally, yes.
As being pretty big myself, I think it is better. But in real estate, is a bigger office better? Is the question.
That's right. Everyone always talks about the biggest team, the biggest network, the biggest franchise.
However, other people talk about boutique. We're a boutique agency, bespoke in our approach to our clients.
Yes.
Is that better? And where do buyers agents fit in this? Let's unpack it.
That's right.
All right. So is bigger better? Steph, what would your thoughts be on that? And what would we class as a big agency?
Let's talk about that. What's big mean?
Okay. I think in my experience in real estate, any agency that has over 25 staff and would run over 1,000 managements, I would regard as a medium size to a large size real estate agency. I would see 10 staff and maybe 400 managements as a medium size, and 5 staff and 200 agencies as boutique or small.
Yes.
So at Novak,
are we big or are we boutique?
Well, at Novak, I'm the shortest agent in the team at 5'11", and I think Mark tops out at about 6 foot.
6'4", I think.
6'4". Stev's about 6'3". Billy's about 6'3". So it's a pretty tall team. Badan's about 4 foot.
Yeah, well,
he brings it down a little bit.
He's tall. He's tall for.
But talking about our agency's big. Well, Novak, we definitely are. We run 1,500 residential managements.
Yep.
We probably run a couple of hundred commercial managements.
Yep.
And we have a staff of approximately 25 full-time employees. Full-time at Novak isn't 9 to 5 either, 5 days a week. It's often encasing 7 days and long happy hours like with us tonight. So what advantages would you say that boutique, 5 people in the agency, 200 managements have?
I think as a boutique, if you're a smaller agency, and I mean that respectfully, you can probably, you're maybe not juggling the same volume of clientele in the marketplace. So theoretically, I guess you could say that they deliver maybe a bit more personal of a one-on-one type of approach. That's what they could probably say at that size, Glenn.
Look, I operated an agency. We were probably about 10 staff, so we were closer to that bespoke model through the inner west of Sydney, where there are some larger agencies, but a lot of the time in that agency would be a selling principal, a property management manager. There could be some admin staff, there could be some assistant staff, could be a couple of salespeople. And what we would say there, is we're really hands-on.
Yeah.
You won't be getting a sales associate to look after your campaign.
Run your open homes.
You won't be getting a junior to manage your property, which is often the criticism of big agencies.
Yes.
Big agencies, whereby there's a lot of people working in that agency, but they're all working individually.
Yeah.
So there may be 20 agents in that agency or 16 agents in that agency, and they all work individually. And what I mean by that is that they only sell their own properties and they only work buyers on their properties.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you watching that may not know, in the inside workings of in the real estate industry, and I guess in the majority of offices still, that's exactly what happens. The person whose name's on the signboard is the agent who takes all the inquiries. He's the only one who talks to the buyers. If he has an associate, they might do some runaround work for him. But essentially, from what may appear to be a big structure externally, once you come inside and you actually see how it works, it's really just an individual, and maybe one or two support staff running that property and dealing with those buyers and hitting that database.
Yeah, so if you're a seller and you think, well, bigger is better, I think you have to look at the structure of the agency. Is the agent you're employing working as a business inside the business?
Yes.
And what we mean by that, are they running their own real estate business under the banner of the agency they're working for and just working on their own projects?
Yes.
Because if they're doing that, it might be big in numbers, but it's not big in leverage, that agency.
Yeah. So let's talk about the leverage side, Glenn. Obviously, we work very differently here. Give the audience a snapshot of how we operate here at Novak Properties.
Well, we're probably not the biggest agency on the Northern Beaches, but we're probably the busiest, and I would say we transact per agent as many properties as anyone else.
Yeah.
But the core principle that we have is you get 10 for the price of one.
Yes.
So you employ an agent, you might employ Glen, but all my colleagues, 10 of them, can sell your property and will actively try to sell your property. And if they sell it, they'll be equally remunerated.
Yes.
So that's where having a big agency and having the right structure benefits your clients.
Yeah. And everybody says, "Oh, we work together, and we can all come together as a team or as a franchise to bring you, the largest volume of buyers in the marketplace." But in reality, ladies and gentlemen, it does not happen. It doesn't happen that way, and most businesses don't really encourage it to happen that way.
Well, sometimes with that business, within the business, the greatest competition in the area is agents within your own agency. So when they have an awards night, they're handing out medals for people that have been shot by friendly fire. Like someone in the office has shot them and they get a medal for that.
We should do a video on awards nights. Are they real?
Well, don't get me started. Any award where you have to pay for the trophy, like Rate My Agent, it's probably not one you want to win. So let's talk about what we do at Novak, because I think if you're a vendor and you want to get the maximum from your agency, the property you employ, then a structure like we run here at Novak, which is based on teamwork, is the best way to go. So what do we do as a team at Novak?
Yep.
The first thing, every Monday, we jump in Mark's luxurious Mercedes van and we go see all the properties and we take videos and take notes so we can report back to our 3 or 4 best buyers for that property.
Yep.
And try to sell them the property. So you have a listing agent or an agent that's talking to the vendor, put the property on the market, and plus another 9 agents that have buyers that would be suitable for that property. Why is that important? Because people buy off people they like.
Yeah.
So, Stavar might be working with someone for years and years, know the family, says, I've got the perfect investment unit for you. I've got this great house for you. Come and have a look. My colleague Glenn's running the listing, but we can go by appointment once again, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So that is the first benefit. Second benefit, I would see in a medium-sized or a bigger agency like us with 1,700 managements, economies of scale.
Yes.
So we can print things, we can order things, we can run programs, we can do zero marketing programs. We don't charge you any marketing because we've just got a lot more funds washing through the office.
Our capacity is
our capacitar
that's Latin.
is very, very high. So that's another benefit of the agency.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways it's a benefit working in an agency where you only have one or two partners as well. So decisions are made very quickly and on the spot. Once again, that washes through the business whereby we can decide on something.
Yes.
And, we put it to the vote with the two directors here. And if it gets up, the following day we can implement it so fast. So one, we've got a team working on bringing you the best buyers. Two, we have a lot of capacity to, like, we run our own marketing. We have our own photographer. The company's just invested in printers so that all our media we can do in-house.
Yeah.
And it has a huge advantage to the seller.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of those costs, that are saved are passed on to our clients, which is great.
And the other thing is we have the ability, if one of us is light on stock, someone else has a lot of stock, to really work hard with those buyers as well. So we have dedicated buyer's agents in our business.
Yeah.
Everyone says, I want to get a buyer's agent. I can't find the property. Must get the buyer's agent. Well, we have buyer's agents within our property who go through our database of over 104,000 buyers and call them up and refer them to our properties. And only through working in that team structure, because they're paid as well to do that, and being a large agency, do we have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Other benefits, Steph?
Other benefits, obviously, outside of that is that you really have a broad range of experience. So certain agents, we come up through our career paths through real estate, but generally, everybody thinks it's property management and then into sales, but, different agents offer different skills and different knowledge, based on what they sell. Look at our team, I've done quite a bit of development work. I can bring that element into, the properties that we're selling. I've got a commercial database of buyers that everybody thinks, oh, you're a commercial guy. Look, that's okay. Commercial people own real estate as well. So that can come into the residential play. You're a local, Glen, this DY market backwards. You've got strength that can support, your property, and buyers in the DY market. We have a look at some of the work that Lisa Novak's doing and Mark Novak are doing is very, very high end, blue chip real estate. So again, access to that kind of clientele. And in a typical office, we would all be in our own little space, but here together, we're all mixed together to bring that opportunity to everybody.
And it enables, for a buyer and then a seller who becomes a buyer again. We have, we've got over 40 properties for sale. We print a booklet in-house with all those properties with a full page on it in colour. And a buyer can buy their first property with us, buy their second property, turn one of them into an investment property. We can manage it, and we can sell one of those properties. They go up to a waterfront home or a beachside home, and then when they come back down, we can serve them with downsizing properties.
And from an agent's perspective, we can all learn from each other. When you're working by yourself, you're definitely learning day in and day out. But when you've got a team of experienced agents, we can bounce ideas off each other. This is working. This isn't working. What did you do to, achieve that sale? I use this approach. Okay, let's look what we can implement. So not only is it the reach of the team, it's the knowledge of the team as well that's put together.
So there's some real benefits of going with a team-based large agency, an agency with over 25 staff, 1,700 management. We'll probably crank out 150, 160 sales for this year. Benefits of going with a smaller agency and bespoke agency, maybe that real personal touch, a connection with that agency or that agent. Both have their value. Talking about agents and agencies, buyers agents. So that's an area of the industry that's grown in my time. I can remember back in 2013, Nick Vinner in the southwest and west of Sydney was about the only guy that I knew going around.
Yeah, right.
And now you would see some highly successful agents on the northern beaches switching to buyers agents. What can they bring people?
They can bring knowledge, they can bring experience. Where I think buyers agents can really be strong, for buyers is one, it's really time poor. So if you don't have the time, or you're relocating, you're coming from interstate or internationally, you don't understand the market. They're great in that regard. Where I also think that they're strong is they will act for you, but they don't carry the same amount of emotion when you're looking at a property. And it's sometimes, I know when you're bidding at an auction, it can be quite nervy when you're bidding for yourself. Yeah. When you're bidding for somebody else, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, look, I definitely think if you're someone that has a high hourly rate, say you're earning $1,000 an hour,
yes,
to commit yourself to go and see every 2-bedroom unit in DY because you want to buy an investment, that's probably not time efficient. If you don't know the market,
yes,
I think that could be a concern. If it's daunting to you making a big decision and making a big purchase like that, I think if you are going the route of a buyer's agent, you're using a professional buyer's agent, I would interview them just like we're interviewed when we go out and we discuss selling a property with a client. Common practice and best practice would be, even if you've already selected an agent, they're that friend of yours, interview 3 agents, or they could be the agency that manage your investment property. Interview 3 agents. Pick the best one. Pick the best one for this transaction, and look at also the structure of the agency. Is it a big team that all works as one? Are you getting 10 agents for one? With a buyer's agent, also be really sure that their fee structure suits you.
Well, that's an interesting point there, Glenn, is the last time I heard a buyer's agent is they were paid on a commission on the purchase price as well. So to me, that says the higher that you pay for it as a buyer, the higher that they're getting paid as well. So I don't know if that's changed recently or not.
Well,
I might have that wrong, guys.
See, we're always our obligation, and the person that engages us, it's called the principal, is the vendor.
Yes.
So we're bound by confidential and fiduciary duties to do the best for our vendor and get to the highest price we can for our vendor. That's pretty easy. With a buyer's agent, there has been criticism and there has been discussion in the past as they paid a commission when you complete. Are they pushing people into the wrong properties to gain their commission?
Yeah.
So that's probably for another day. When I first started in real estate, I had a great business partner, and buyers agents would come along and he'd say, Glenn, we're the dogs and they're the fleas. The dog can live without the fleas, but the fleas can't live without the dog. Tony Archimedes, beautiful man. That's probably changed now. We like to work hand in hand with buyers agents, but that's another aspect for buyers out there as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting point. Just one thing, Glenn, before we go. You've obviously a very experienced real estate agent. Franchise groups, because they appear big, but are they big?
Well, franchise, there's been a shift to independent.
Yeah,
so,
I think so too.
If you looked at one of the largest networks, I won't name them, that's not fair, but one of the largest networks on the beaches in 2013, 2010, around that period, and was a franchise group that was sort of like the model of this large franchise groups. business. They said, look at this group, look how well they're doing, how many sales they're making. They all assist each other. But in the past few years, there's from a group of maybe 13, 3 have gone independent.
Yeah.
So I think now a lot of the benefits for the businesses, the franchise groups offered, say technology, marketing, probably knowledge can be all found outside with private trainers. The cost of
better rates as well now.
Preparing
the cost
marketing.
Of everything's really.
But look, a franchise group that there could be some referral. Basically, they work a bit similar to an office with a lot of commission-owning agents, where it's a business within a business. So the franchise office is a business underneath the umbrella of the franchise. But in saying that, there's some, like the leading office in Australia is a franchise office. Joss Testerlin out there, I challenge anyone to be doing the volume.
No,
and that's a Ray White office, which we don't have on the Northern Beaches.
Yeah.
So, it's I think bigger, better, who's better. I think it really comes down to your relationship with that agent, but what value adds does that agent bring you? So people might like Stevan, but what else does Stevan have? Does he, he has 10 agents. He has an office working on the property. He has an office that's open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
He works for principals that just this room we're in alone costs $60,000.
We're outside then. Look, it's daylight savings really good over here.
There are all the things to consider. I think another thing to consider is, just Christmas opening hours.
Yep.
On the Northern Beaches, some of the highest traffic on realestate.com, according to realestate.com, is over that Christmas period. And a lot of your smaller offices can't rotate the staff and need to have a holiday.
Yep.
They won't be open. If you need anything real estate-wise, we'll be here.
Yep.
We might be dressed up as Santa, but we'll be here.
I'm always like Santa, a bit jolly, and then got this beard happening.
All right. Well, look, that's a wrap for tonight. Any real estate questions you have, as always, ask the team at Novak, and thanks for sharing this last 20 minutes with us.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.